As we get closer to the end of the month, the numbers keep going up and up. Hi, this is Randy Kirk, and we're going to be talking numbers today. We're going to be talking end of the month numbers for Tesla. We're going to be talking about actually projections from not only this year, but going into 2024. And hang around for the end because you're going to be shocked at what I think 2024 is starting to look like. All right. If you would like to like this, like it anytime you like. And if you would like tomorrow, I'm going to be getting into the other numbers, the profit numbers. I'm going to be doing that all the way through the end of the decade, all the way through 2030. So you might want to, subscribe and then hit the notify button if you'd like to be notified about that tomorrow. On Wednesday, I'm going to be meeting once again with Scott Walter and maybe with John Gibbs, and we're going to revisit everything that's happened to Optimus since the beginning of the month. I think you're going to like that video too. Anyway, okay, let's get into these numbers. So I had projected originally that there would be 2.3 million cars made and sold in 2023. That was about 5 months ago that I put up those projections. And at the time I said that if Tesla was all out and they really hit everything out of the park and executed on every single thing possible, they might even hit 2.65 million, counting Cybertruck and Semi in that number. Now I count each Semi as 5 times a car because they're going to sell for, I'm thinking, at least 250,000, and the average Tesla automobile right now sells for 50,000. As you'll see tomorrow in my episode, I'm counting only at 44,000 for cars in 2023, and for that to continue and start going down as we get closer to the end of the decade, because there'll be $25,000 cars in the mix, and there'll be a lot of them. Anyway, that's for tomorrow. That's more about that tomorrow. But as we look at this month, as the information becomes available on Sunday, probably almost always on the second day, we will find out what the production numbers are and also what the delivered numbers are. And pundits, YouTube folks, folks on Twitter that are always making these kinds of predictions have been shooting in the low to 400s, 420, 415, 410, but all of a sudden, everybody's starting to coalesce around maybe 435. So what do I think? Well, we'll take a look in a second here. So even though I was projecting 2.3 as my base case earlier in last year, in late last year, I started lowering my number, basically not because I didn't think Tesla could do 2.65 or easily hit 2.3, but rather because there was some suggestion that there were they were lacking in demand and that Tesla might be cutting back on production, doing it a little here and a little there rather than making some big splash about the fact they were cutting production. But when you look at the possible numbers, 2.65 was certainly in sight and 2.3 should be easy. I'm going to continue to believe that is all true, and I'm going to show it to you. And hey, listen, hit the comments. You know how much I love comments. I really try to answer all your comments. If I don't answer your comment, it's probably not because I didn't like it. It's probably because sometimes I miss one. So anyway, but please comment. If you think I'm completely nuts, just go ahead and let me know. So I'm not revising or reinstating my 2.65 number. I'm not even reinstating the 2.3 number, but I do believe those are possible. That is, if Tesla decides to go all out, which they've said they're going to do, and which there's every evidence right now that they are going all out at all factories. So the main thing about the main thing is in analyzing all this, you really have to look at the Model Y at both Berlin and Austin. That's going to be the biggest factor. Sure, the Cybertruck eventually will play in a few thousand units. The semi-truck, I'm going to be doing another video on that. I've just done a couple where we have some speculation about why there's not Cybertrucks being made in quantity right now. But I'll be talking more about that later this week. But there's going to be some semi trucks and there's going to be some Cybertrucks this year, and we'll throw these into the numbers. But the big deal is going to be the Model Y. That's what's going to increase the numbers the most, and already, of course, increasing the numbers the most over last year. So let's take just a broad look at that. We suspect, based on current ramp rate and based on the ramp rate of the Model 3 and the Model Y in previous ramps, that they should be fully ramped to their 500,000 level and even above by the end of this year. So the way things are going right now, both factories are probably at around 250,000 run rate. But both of them should be at the 500,000 run rate by the end of the year, and probably above that, heading towards the million number. We realize in Berlin, they have to get some permits, get Berlin to sign off on that. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue, since it's going to use the same footprint and it's going to use no more water. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal to get that approved in Austin. I think that's a no-brainer. So they will go towards that 1 million number. But with all that said, it's hard to imagine, if you're already at 250,000 and you're going to be at 500,000 by the end of the year, and based on the current run rate, ramp rate that we're seeing, that either factory will be under 320,000. So let me pull up let me pull up my stats now. I have to go over here. Whoops, that didn't work very well. First of all, I have to say to share screen. I'm always very bad at the share screen thing. Share screen, here we go. Share screen. Oh, okay. Share, here it comes. And there we go, I've done it. Okay, we're gonna look down here. Up above, you might have noticed there's some other numbers. Those are the numbers I'm gonna share on Wednesday. Now, those numbers are already up on my Patreon. If you'd like to join Patreon, it's only $5 a month. These numbers will be up there. You can play around with them. You can let me know what you think in detail. We can discuss them and go into some conversations about the numbers, both in terms of the quantities as well as in terms of the profit picture all the way through the end of this decade. I do this in large numbers only. I don't go into lots of detail. I'll explain that on tomorrow's video as well. All right, let's take a look here. So I just do it by factory, except for Cybertruck and semi-truck. There's the semi-truck and Cybertruck numbers are small. So right now I'm taking those out of the various factories. I'm not breaking it down by model, any of that kind of stuff, just the big bulk numbers. So let's look at Austin and Berlin. Right now, we are sitting probably at around 40,000 units per quarter. We need to get to 125,000 per quarter by the end of the year in order to hit the 500,000 per year run rate. So you can see what I've done. I've just kind of, nobody can do it any better. And some people might even do it worse than me. I don't know. We don't know. All we can do is take previous ramp rates, take a look at the fact that Tesla says they're fully out, doing as best they can, and then kind of speculate. So here's my speculations. You can like them or not like them. Please let me know what you think in the comments. However, you can see that would mean 320,000 out of Austin, 340,000 out of Berlin. Fremont is supposed to be able to do 600,000 cars without even, breathing hard. Now the Model 3 has been under some kind of redo. The wraps are supposed to be coming off of that. They're supposed to be shipping the new Model 3s soon. I'm just going to project again that it's going to be something like 610,000 for the year. My understanding is that Fremont is capable of doing more like 650,000, and that they have right now, they're putting in methods and methodologies for getting it over that 650,000. So I think the 610 is a conservative number. I think the 320 and 340 for Austin and Berlin are conservative numbers. Then we come to Shanghai. Shanghai has shown they've done 90,000, $84,000 months, I think, 84,000 unit months, I mean. So for them to do a 950,000 for the year, once again, I think that's a no-brainer, 950,000 right here. I don't see how that's hard. So I've got it ramped this way, 210, 230, 250, and 260 to get to 950. Quite frankly, in all of my numbers, I was showing that Shanghai should be able to do 1.2 million on its own. Fremont should be able to do 650, and the Austin and Berlin numbers are probably a little small. Maybe they can do even better than that. They should hit the full run rate, the full 500,000 a year by the end of quarter 3 or early quarter 4. So my quarter 4 numbers could be low by a lot. So if you add all those in, that means that we have 2.22 million. That's way over the 2 million that Tesla says is their stretch number. It's way over pretty much everybody on the street again. But tell me where I'm wrong. Anybody, please point out which one of these numbers doesn't make sense. Which one of them is even like overly optimistic if Tesla is in fact going all out to produce as many as they can. I can't figure out where my numbers are wrong. This to me is an easy hit, 2.2. All right, then you go down to Cybertruck. I'm putting in that they'll do 2,000 in quarter 3. They'll do 13,000 in quarter 4. This is again based on typical ramp rates, and maybe they won't be typical. Maybe they'll be easier or slower. I don't know. For a total of 15,000. Semi-truck, I'm putting in now. Remember, these are divide by 5. So I'm saying that in quarter 2, they're going to make 500. I'm sorry, 200 times 5 would be 1,000. Double that, half again that, total of 6. So about 1,250 total vehicles for this year, because I believe, and again, I'll be doing a video on this later, I believe that the semi-truck is going to be slowly ramped in the existing facility, but at some point this year, it's going to start, not next year, but sometime this year, the production line is going to start knocking these out. So in quarter 1, we'll already be up to 3,000 a month times 5, 15,000. That's next year. Talk about that in a minute. Okay, so that would give us a total of 2.24 now. We're getting very, very close to my base number before of 2.3. As you can see, it wouldn't take much. A little bit extra in Shanghai, a little bit extra in Fremont, a little bit more than we think in Austin and Berlin, a few more Cybertrucks, a couple more semi-trucks. Anything could easily start pushing us towards that 2.3 number. And then if it's really crazy and Shanghai does do 1.2, well, there's 250,000 more. You're already past 2.5. So I'm just asking, comment, which of these numbers is dumb? Which of these numbers doesn't make sense? Where am I off? I look at some of these other guys out there, Troy Teslike, I appreciate him and I like him and I think he's a good guy, but he's not anywhere near these numbers, but I can't figure out why. All right, let's look at next year. Becomes a lot of fun next year. Watch how this works. Okay, so Fremont, I'm figuring they're going to keep growing a little bit. So I put them at 160 in the first quarter, 170 the rest of the year for a total of 670. That certainly seems within the realm of reason. I think that's fairly conservative. Austin should be building towards 1 million a year, and it shouldn't take them longer than the entire year to get to that 1 million a year. So I'm figuring that by the fourth quarter, they will be at both Austin and Berlin will be running at the 1 million per year rate. And that would give them 250,000 each in the fourth quarter. In Shanghai, I'm saying, okay, I know they're capable of doing 1 million too. So if there's no expansion, if they don't do anything special, if they don't get a lot better than they already are, let's just get them close to that 1 million too, that we believe that they're already capable of doing as of last year. Now let's look at Mexico. I'm saying they don't make any cars until quarter 2. I have some speculation and a bunch of people talking about it that maybe they do make some cars in quarter 1, but let's just say 2,000 in quarter 2, 15 in quarter 3, and 50,000 in quarter 4. That's assuming the ramp is faster than the normal ramp, but not crazy. Okay, that gives 75,000 for that, for a total of 3.477 million cars next year. All the people that are worried about how is Tesla going to make enough cars, well, there's 3.477, and that doesn't count the Cybertruck or the semi-truck. So normal ramp, quarter 1, 45,000, quarter 2, 75, 95, 125. That's a normal ramp. That will give 340,000 Cybertrucks for 2024. Am I wrong? Is there something wrong with these numbers? Did I mess up somewhere? And semi-truck, remember, divide by 5. So 3,000, and then 9,000, and then 15,000. And then at the very top, almost 19,000 made in quarter 4. Is 19,000 too many? Some people say that Cybertruck should be able to ramp just as fast as the cars do. Other people think it won't. I'm not exactly sure what the difference is. If you know, tell me in the comments why it would be slower if it's a full-on production, probably an unboxed production in Reno to make these semi-trucks. Why should the ramp be slower than it would be for cars and for this, for the Cybertruck? So there's 340 for Cyber and 230 equivalent for semi-truck for a total of over 4 million cars to be shipped in 2024. Now, are those numbers crazy? Are they conservative? Should they be the base case? But if it's not conservative, where am I blowing it? What is the number that just doesn't make sense to you? I'd love to hear in your comments. So there you have it. 2.241 million in 2023 would be way more than 50% increase. And then if we, it would only take another 1.1 million to be a 50% increase into 2024, but I'm showing almost a doubling into 2024 because Cybertruck and the Mexico factory are both starting to ramp, as well as semi. So you've got all these different factories that are all ramping. I don't know how you get to less than that, but maybe it's only 3.5. Wouldn't we all be thrilled with 3.5 in 2024? Anyway, there you have it. That's my best shot. Tomorrow, again, we'll be talking about the profit numbers based not just on these, but based on maybe even more conservative numbers, a continual ramp to hit the 20 million by 2030, a continual ramp to hit 1 terawatt of energy storage by the end of 2030, although I've heard it said by Elon that they plan to do that as fast as they can, not necessarily by the end of the decade, could be much, much sooner. There's reasons to believe that that's going to happen sooner too, because apparently there's plenty, not just plenty of batteries, there's like plenty of batteries. CATL is way under capacity on their shipments right now, on their manufacturing and their shipments. They can make a lot more than they are because they don't have enough demand. Let that sink in. Hey, if this has been useful to you, like, subscribe, hit the notify button, and join Patreon if you'd like to see the numbers for tomorrow, if you'd like to see other things in advance of when other people are seeing them, or if you'd just like to support the channel so that I can continue to make these videos, that'd be great. And it's been wonderful talking to you today.